order for let's spill the tea. Aw, recording.
Hi.
Hi. Why are you so dead? Be lively.
Well, I'm yeah. I'm like counting down the days until, my favorite thing is gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
Actually, that could be
excited.
multiple. That's multiple things. Hold on. That could be many things.
I'm counting down the days until Paul's birthday because I'm
There we go.
excited.
Okay,
but I'm
that's what
also
I thought.
counting down the days for the other thing that happens.
Yeah.
That I get to like.
Mm-hmm.
My boss knows now though, so does it really
so
matter?
And this episode comes out after your last day, I think. Because isn't your last day like next week? No.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So
well, no, my last day is the Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Not next week, but the Monday after.
Because really that annoying. Weird cutoff. But no, it's literally like you're hopeful for your boyfriend's birthday and the last fucking day of school.
I'm like literally counting down the days. But the sadness didn't hit me until today though. Because I was looking because none of the like kids that cause trouble were there. So I was like, wow, these are all the kids that I like have known for like 5 years. And I was like, oh, I'm like leaving them. This is really sad. Yeah, and then I got it sucks. Really sad. But it's okay.
Womp womp.
Okay.
Well, I guess that's your tea. Are you drinking tea? I was too lazy to make tea. I was thinking about it, though.
I also was. I was thinking about tea earlier today. I've been thinking about tea for the past couple days.
I've been wanting some boba. A nice taro tea latte. Oh.
We just got boba last weekend. And then he wants boba again for like his birthday. But I don't know if we're gonna go to like
Bitch works at a boba shop.
Yeah, but for some reason Allison didn't give him a discount. So he was salty about it.
Is Allison the daughter?
Yeah.
Damn. I would be salty too.
I was like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? He's not worthy of the discount yet.
I want a discount.
Well, it's like you should just get like a regular like discount for like being there so much. Like I'm here like weekly.
Yes, can we actually do that? I want that so bad.
Local boba shop, are you listening?
Hello.
Hello.
Anyway, that's my tea. Neither of us have tea. Do you have like not like tea?
Huh?
Like not like actual tea. Tea?
Like do I have tea to spill? Is that what you're asking me? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't get called to work this week.
Oop.
So teensy tiny paycheck coming through. But my audio lead at the one I worked at on Sunday. Not that means anything to you because I don't even think you knew I was at work.
No, you didn't tell me.
I was scheduled for 4 hours just so like he could see me work and whatnot. And he let me literally because like my shift was 12 to 4. And
yeah,
this time in the afternoon, not a fucking overnight. I promise.
Okay.
And I was mixing for this band that like plays there like every weekend. And the first set ended and I look and I'm like, it's already 3:20. It's getting close to the end of my shift. And he's like, all right, so the next one's at 3:50. And I'm like, huh? So I stayed for the second set. There were 3 sets. I stayed for the second set and it was getting close to like 5 o'clock. And when I told him how like far away I was and where I'm coming from work.
Yeah.
he was like, you're leaving at 5 o'clock so you don't get stuck in 3-hour traffic going home. And I'm like, I appreciate it. Because I genuinely told him, like, I have nothing to do today. Like, I can stay as long as you need me. But nah, he was just being generous and like, as much as you could stay, you're going to get stuck in traffic and want to die. Go home. I was like, all right. Works for me.
Fair.
So I got 1 5-hour shift in.
Well, that's still better than nothing. My job that I'm working at, I'm so happy.
That they just completely change your schedule on you and you want to die?
Yeah. My right nostril is like burning.
That's not normal. I mean, you're not normal, but...
But also, it's like, also like in the back of my throat, like, you know, when you do like a rinse in your nose?
Sure.
And it gets a little, and it feels like salt. Like salty.
Okay, you weirdo. I don't really need to do like the neti pot things. I've never gotten that bad.
No, so I don't have to do that. But I mean like the salt sprays.
Yeah, I don't do that.
You don't use nasal spray?
No. I just suffer.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh. Well, then I just sound crazy.
There's probably someone out there that understands. Someone. Don't know who. Not me.
But I didn't use saline spray, so I don't really know why it's doing that. But, you know.
Would you like story time today?
Yeah.
All right. I've been starting a thing. Would you like to guess the theme of true crime I have for you today?
Kidnapping.
Correct!
I was!
That's 2 in a row!
Oh, I'm so good at this.
Well, next week I don't think you're gonna get it.
Oh.
But
well, I was so good at this.
Today we are discussing the Lindbergh kidnapping. We're gonna go back to like history class back in high school, all right? Do you remember who Charles Lindbergh is?
I remember the name, but honestly, no.
just throw something out there. What do you think he did?
He did something. What era?
20s, 30s.
Some like this sounds like now it's gonna bother me.
When I tell you, you're gonna want to like throw yourself into a wall.
He's not like a politician.
Nope.
I keep thinking of Amelia Earhart.
Keep thinking. Keep thinking. If she's in your head, that's a good thing.
Why do I don't think that that's the person that she flew around the world with, or not the world, around the thing with. So did he fly something too?
Yes. The first solo transatlantic flight.
Ah. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember. The planes were in there.
Yes, that's why I was like, you're getting there. You're almost there.
The planes were there.
Well, I guess we have my next kidnapping story. This one is another celebrity kidnapping, give or take.
Okay.
I mean, he was a celebrity.
Yeah, I guess.
In a way. So, about a few years after he did his transatlantic flight, he had a son.
Okay.
Charles Augustus Lindbergh Jr. was born June 22nd, 1930, to Colonel Charles Lindbergh and Anne Mara Lindbergh, which I gotta say, I had to write Colonel so many fucking times in here that, like, I kept writing COR, and I'm just like, who the fuck invented this word?
When I was a kid, I didn't know that, like, colonel was colonel. I thought it said colonel.
Yeah, I have to literally say colonel in my head to spell it. Or else I'm gonna write a popcorn kernel.
Colonel.
Well, this dude, he wasn't even 2 years old when on March 1st, 1932, at approximately 9 a.m., the child would be abducted from his crib in his home in East Amwell, New Jersey.
New Jersey?
Yes, this is a New Jersey story. Because you got to think about it, he had to at least have been from the East Coast. That doesn't give you many options.
No. But New Jersey.
So, the nurse Betty Go believed he was with his mother, who was taking a bath, and vice versa. So, like, no one was with this child.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. So, as soon as they realized the baby was gone, Lindbergh ran straight into the room where a ransom note with poor handwriting was found in an envelope on the windowsill. Now, I'm when I say poor handwriting, this shit was hard to read because also the grammar was not good. Would you like me to read it to you as it was written first and you try to translate it, or would you like me to give you the way, like, the guy was trying to say these things?
No, I want to try.
All right, this is gonna be a little difficult on me. So,
okay.
Dear sir, have $50,000 ready, like the color red. Why?
Oh, okay.
25,000 in $20 bills, 15,000 in $10 bills, and 10,000 in $5 bills. After 2 to 4 days, we'll inform you were to deliver the money. Capital M, no E. Don't ask me why.
Okay.
We warn you for making anything public or for notify the police with an S instead of a C. The child is in good care. Indication for all letters are signature and 3 holds. Which, out of all the things, he spelled indication right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, would you like me to read it the way it was supposed to be done?
Dear sir, have this amount of money ready, and then I will tell you where you're gonna bring it at this amount of time, and then I don't know what the end was.
Yeah, the fact that the child is in gut care.
I'm glad his gut is taken care of.
Yeah, this baby's gut's all good. No, so now I'm gonna read it the proper way. Dear sir, have $50,000 ready. 25,000 in $20 bills, 15,000 in $10 bills, and 10,000 in $5 bills. After 2 to 4 days, we will inform you where to deliver the money. We warn you not to make anything public or notify the police because the child is in good care. Indication for all letters are the signature and 3 holes, like punched out holes.
Yeah.
So, all right, time to do our broke bitch feeling. $50,000 in the 30s? Do you even want to know what it is now? No? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway because I needed to know that. Ouch.
Yeah.
$1,789,357.14.
I think I needed to marry Charles Lindbergh.
Sorry, Anne Morrow beat you to that.
Poopy.
So, due to the odd English and grammatical errors, it was believed that the ransom note was written by a foreigner.
Ow.
Now,
smart thinking.
Do you have any guesses of, just from that, do you have any leads?
Like that it's a foreigner?
That, like, could give you any hints to, any
Bro
clues
has no education.
No, he has education. He's just not, he doesn't know English well enough.
So then he's not from an English place.
It took me, I will tell you, the gut care thing, I can't tell you what it made me think later on when I learned about the guy because I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
But just keep the gut care because I think I know why he wrote it like that. It's just
Okay.
very odd English in here.
Does he like speak English, but he like wrote the things at the way he like says it? Like, you know,
Pretty
some people
much.
can like speak it like really well, but they can't
But they
spell.
struggle to write it. Yes. I believe that's exactly what it was. Well, NJ State Police took charge of this investigation. Colonel H. Norman Schwarzkopf was in charge. They found traces of mud on the floor. There were footprints under the nursery window, but they were not able to measure it because it was not a full footprint. And also, this is the 30s. They don't have the same equipment we have now. Could only do so much. The ladder used to get to the second-story window was split or broken during the ascent or descent. Like, it was literally, like, split in two. Like, okay, buddy. Build a better ladder. It was possibly built by someone who knew woodwork or had prior building experience. There was no blood or fingerprints. The police offered a $25,000 reward for any information on the case, and the Lindberghs offered an additional $50,000 for their son's safe return. They were like, "Listen, I already got to give this man like $50,000. Here's another. Someone find my son."
Aww.
So they questioned the household and estate employees. That didn't really lead to anywhere. They didn't know anything. Because they were like, who the fuck would want to kidnap this baby?
Yeah.
So many attempts were made to contact the kidnappers, but none of them were successful. On March 6th, a second ransom note was delivered that was posted on March 4th in Brooklyn. The ransom note demanded an increase to $70,000. Which I'm just going to warn you. Do you remember the Brady gang circles that we went through?
Yeah.
I'm going to warn you. We might do that again today. Heads up.
Okay.
So at this time, a police conference was held in Trenton where many began to discuss theories and procedures. Lindbergh's attorney, Colonel Henry Breckenridge, like I said, there's too many fucking colonels here.
Colonel.
He employed some PIs as well. Just because, like, sometimes the police, they got so much on their plates, they can only do so much. Let's let some private investigators who are, like, 100% on this case and this case only can work on it. Which, honestly, nothing wrong with doing that. So, a third ransom note was received by the Lindbergh's attorney on March 8th. The kidnapper declined the use of an intermediary and wanted some sort of note in the paper. Basically, like, they could respond to him through the paper.
Okay.
But even though he declined the intermediary, that same day, Dr. John F. Condon, it did not write well on here. Sorry. It accidentally, so, like, I'm stuttering, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm trying to, like, word this. I was reading it and I'm like, a 2-year-old retired teacher? No, a 72-year-old retired teacher. The 7 got deleted. The 7 got deleted. So that same day, Dr. John F. Condon, a 72-year-old retired teacher from the Bronx, still offered to act as the intermediary in a letter to the Bronx Home News. So he was not aware that the kidnapper said no, because, again, it's the same exact day. Word does not travel that fast. So he called the Lindberghs, claiming he once made contact with the kidnappers, but I didn't hear anything else after that. Being like, okay, if you made contact with them already, what the fuck are you doing? The next day, someone contacted him claiming to be the kidnapper or kidnappers. Condon, I don't know if it's condone or condon, like...
I thought you said condom.
No, it's C-O-N-D-O-N, so kind of, but it's not.
Condom.
Condon operated
Make
under
sure
the...
you use them. Sorry. Wrap your pickle, guys.
Oh my god. Anyway, Condon operated under the alias Jafsy to protect his identity. I mean, smart. And they had many graveyard meetings. I know it's still in your head. Stop that.
I'm trying.
On March 12th, around 8:30 p.m., Condon. If I say Condon, is that better? I don't know.
It's fine. I'm fine. I'll be fine. I'll hold it in.
March 12th, around 8:30 p.m., Condon received the 5th ransom note from an anonymous telegraph. It was delivered by Joseph Perrone, a taxi driver who received it from an unknown stranger. It stated another note would be found beneath a stone at a vacant stand 100 feet from an outlying subway station. Well, the 6th note is where he said it would be. It basically, as long as I can't talk today. There were further instructions to meet with the kidnapper, who called himself John, at Woodland Cemetery. Condon requested a token to identify the child so they know there's truth in what he's saying. On March 16th, a baby's sleeping suit and a 7th note was received by Condon. Lindbergh confirmed the sleeping suit was his son's, so there we go. We know this man is the man we got to be in contact with. On March 21st, the 8th note was delivered.
Bruh.
The kidnapper insisted on complete compliance and said that he'd been planning this crime for a year now. This baby was 20 months old.
Why were you... Okay.
I don't know either, bro. So, March 29th, the nurse found the infant's thumb guard near the entrance of the estate that he wore at the time of the kidnapping. The next day, the 9th note demanded a raise to $100K. Which, do you want to know?
This bitch is greedy.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know?
Just tell me.
$2,378,714.29.
Yay.
We're broke.
Yay. I want that.
So on April 1st, the 10th note. I'm not done. The 10th note instructed to have the money ready for the next night, and Condon replied to it in an ad in the press. Basically be like, hey, I'll meet you at the spot. This is the only way I can contact you.
Spot.
Oh my god.
Caught a vibe. Sorry.
On April 2nd, the next day, the 11th note was delivered by an unidentified taxi driver who received it from an unknown man. And in the 11th note was the instructions to find the 12th note.
What the hell?
It was found under a stone in front of a greenhouse at 3225 East Tremont Ave in the Bronx. The 12th note instructed him to the meeting spot with John, and he ended up just lowering the ransom back to $50,000. So after all of that, well, they exchanged the money, and Condon was given a receipt and the 13th note.
Where's the baby?
The 13th note would contain instructions on finding the child on a boat named Nellie near Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts.
Why the fuck is the baby in Massachusetts?
Don't ask me! But here's the thing, the search led to nowhere.
So this dude's a scammer.
Condon claimed he'd easily be able to identify John if he ever saw him again, which is a really good thing, because how many fucking meetings did he have with this man?
Yeah. I would hope.
So, on May 12th, 1932, a little over 2 months after he went missing, baby Lindbergh was found by accident.
On accident?
Yeah. He was partially buried and badly decomposed. He was found 4.5 miles southeast of his home near Mount Rose, New Jersey.
Okay, I didn't know the baby died.
Yeah. I didn't know until I started researching this either. I'm going to be so honest with you. It broke my heart too.
Baby.
I know. Little baby Charlie. He was discovered by William Allen, a truck assistant. They basically like pulled over to like work on some stuff on the truck, and then they were like, "There's a fucking baby here." So this is meant to give a sensitivity warning. Earlier, I do apologize because this is very sad. Infant loss is a very tragic thing to parents. His head was crushed. He had a hole in his skull, and some of his body parts were missing, like his insides. Granted, because he was so badly decomposed, it could have been scavengers, like birds of prey and whatnot. Not birds of prey, scavenger birds and whatnot. Yeah. It is New Jersey. We do have quite a few of them here. So on the next day, his parents identified him and they had him cremated. They were like, "Well, you guys did the autopsy already, so there's going to be no reason to." Makes sense. I usually, when it comes to something true crime, I usually say don't cremate. But like, there's not much more they can do.
Yeah.
So the coroner examination showed he was 2 months post-mortem, and the cause of death was a blow to the head, which means he was dead that entire time. The entire time they were working with the kidnappers, they were actually working with a murderer.
That's crazy. Oh my goodness.
So New Jersey State Police would gain assistance from the FBI due to the severity of the case. The reason the FBI didn't just take over the case is because there was no federal jurisdiction. So they were just like, "Hey, if you need some resources, like give us a call. We got you." Well, like this is a tough case.
Yeah.
On May 26th, New Jersey State Police announced a reward for $25,000 for information resulting in the apprehension and conviction of the kidnappers, one or more. But I kind of feel weird saying kidnappers now that you know he was murdered.
Yeah.
So on June 10th, Violet Sharp, she was a waitress, was already being questioned about this case. And the stress like must have really gotten to her from it. And she actually committed suicide by swallowing poison when she was about to be brought back in for further questioning. Yet later investigation showed she had no connection with the case.
So they questioned this poor girl to like suicide.
Yes.
That's really sad too.
Well, she's not the only tragedy. Well, obviously the baby's the main tragedy of this story, but she's not the only tragedy that happened in this because a lot of people got scammed, and I'll go over that in a little bit. So, September 1933, President Franklin D. Roosevelt had a meeting with Director Hoover of the New Jersey State Police. So the casework was centralized in the Department of Justice, looking at people with criminal records and whatnot, trying to like figure out who could have done this. Mm-hmm. He would have the Attorney General make a request to the Commissioner of the IRS, again, looking at files, seeing if anyone just had like a big income and whatnot. And at this point, FDR was like, "You know what? We're giving this to the FBI."
Okay.
So now the FBI has exclusive jurisdiction on this case, especially like this was technically over multiple states. feel like they
Yeah, it
should
should
have
have been
had
the
it
FBI
already.
anyway.
Well, the New York City Borough Office issued a letter to employees handling currency and banks, clearinghouses, grocery stores, insurance companies, gas filling stations, airports, department stores, post offices, and telegraph companies with the serial numbers of the ransom bills. So they were like, hey, if you find these bills, certificates, whatever, because like the words were kind of like interchangeable in this time. Like, hey, give us a call because like we got to figure out where this money came from. So we're going to go back in time to like the beginning of this case real quick. March 4th, 1932, 3 days after the baby's been kidnapped. A con man, Gaston B. Means, was approached by a woman from D.C., Evelyn Walsh McLean. She felt she may be able to help in the return of the child somehow. Like she was willing to be like the like give the money to the kidnappers. Like she was like, let's just get this baby out of here. So Means claimed he could be of help because he was invited to participate in a quote, a big kidnapping a few weeks earlier, and he declined. He also claimed that his friend was responsible. I'm like, dude, then go to the fucking police.
Yeah.
If you know who asked you to participate and it was your friend, why didn't you tell the cops?
Was their friend.
Right? Well, he reported to McLean that he got contact with the kidnappers and had her hand over $100,000 for the ransom. Which, yes, that's twice as much. Because it was not at 100K at that point. It was just brought up to like 70, I think.
Wonderful.
So he kept her waiting until April 17th by claiming he was negotiating with the kidnappers who went by the Fox. Don't ask me. Don't ask me why. She requested he return the money and he denied. He was like, no, I got to keep this money in case I can like give him the money and get this baby back. Well, she was like, fuck you. I'm reporting you to the FBI.
Okay, fair.
So the Fox was Norman T. Whitaker, a disbarred attorney, and the two were then apprehended.
Whitaker.
Means was convicted of embezzlement and larceny after trust and sentenced to 15 years in a federal penitentiary. And then both were convicted of conspiracy to defraud, which was 2 years each. So Whitaker only got like 2 years for like being a co-conspirator pretty much. So that was there were many other attempted frauds from this case. That was just the big one that led to like apprehension. There were thousands of leads across the nation that would just end up leading to nowhere. People would like try and be like, hey, maybe this guy did it. This guy did it. Nope, nope, nope. So handwriting experts analyzed the ransom notes because, I mean, they still had them at this point. It was like, what are you going to do with them? The writer was of German nationality, but spent some time in America. So the reason the gut care, gut and tag, how they spell it is G-U-T. Good. Yeah. So he probably thought, oh, they must be the same thing. Like, I could definitely tell, like, it was definitely, like, Eastern European, kind of, give or take. Also, Condon described John as Scandinavian. So we are looking at Eastern European, especially because we can tell this man does not have the proper English knowledge of someone who lived in America full time. Condon transcribed his engagements with John, who received the ransom payment, even imitated his dialect and pronunciations. That's how they were even narrowing it down even more. Which I'm like, dude, you remember like everything this dude said to you? That's like impressive because I sometimes forget a conversation 5 minutes after it happens.
Me too.
And also, this man's in his 70s. Like, oh my god.
Oh, okay. What? I'm 22 and I can't even.
Exactly. Remember. So they then looked at some more evidence, such as the ladder It was made poorly, but by someone familiar with working with wood. Arthur Kohler was called in as an expert in wood knowledge because he works for the Department of Agriculture. Like, I think specifically in, like, forestry, it might have been. He basically disassembled the entire ladder to identify the specific wood used and the tool marks, which is like, I would have just looked at it and been like, that looks like oak. It's not? Okay. That, I don't know wood.
I'm not good at anything. I wouldn't be able to tell just from looking at something.
Exactly. On August 20th, 1934, to like September-ish, they were finally able to begin tracing where the ransom money was traveling. It was mostly being used at corner produce stores by a man who resembled John's description. On September 18th at about 1:20 p.m., the assistant manager of the Corn Exchange Bank and Trust Company called police that a $10 certificate had been discovered by one of his tellers. Yes, you look a little confused.
The corn.
Yeah, that's the FBI website. I don't know.
What? The corn bank, guys. I actually just exchanged my corn there. I exchanged my corn.
And trust company, so you gotta trust them.
I exchanged my corn for their trust, so that one day they can loan me corn, so that I can buy more corn.
So from this bank, it was traced back to a gas station on 127th Street and Lexington Avenue. Back on September 15th, so they're still tracing it back. That's when the attendant received a bill for 5 gallons of gas and recorded the license number. This car was registered to Bruno Richard Hauptmann, who lived at 1279 East 222nd Street in the Bronx. So, who the fuck's Hauptmann? Who is this man that I'm just bringing up out of nowhere? He was born November 26th, 1899 in Cummins in the German Empire, because it was still the German Empire at this point. He was the youngest of 5 kids. He had 3 brothers and 1 sister. He quit school at 14 to work and go to trade school at night studying carpentry. And later on machine building.
Wow.
His father died when he was 18 in 1917, and then his brother was killed fighting in France during World War I, which is just so sad. And then not long after that, his brother Max died fighting in Russia.
Oh.
And then he was drafted and assigned to artillery.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. In 1918, he was assigned to the 12th Machine Gun Company in, I don't know German, so please bear with me, Königsbruck. And then he was sent to fight in the Battle of St. Mihiel in August and September of 1918. He claimed he was gassed and hit in the helmet with a piece of metal, which knocked him out for hours and was left for dead, only for him to come to and crawl back to safety, and then he was just put back to work.
What? Okay. I mean, fair. They do that.
So, post-war, him and a friend robbed 2 women with baby carriages they used to transport food on the road between Weisse and Nebelschutz. They were also charged with robbing the mayor's home using a ladder and given 3 years in prison.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So, he illegally entered the U.S. by stowing away on a liner in September 1923. He worked as a carpenter and married a German waitress, Anna Schofler, in 1925. And then he became a father to Manfred in 1933, which was after he fucking killed a baby.
Yeah, you know.
So Hauptmann's house was closely surveilled by authorities. A man with the description of John left the house and entered a car nearby. He was taken straight into custody. Good. John is Hauptmann.
Good.
He admitted using many of the golden certificates, which was the ransom money, and positively identified on September 19th. They found $13,000 of the certificates in his garage, and they collected samples of his handwriting, and they matched the ransom notes. September 26, 1934, he was indicted in Supreme Court in the Bronx on charges of extortion, and October 8th, indicted with murder in Hunterdon County, New Jersey. He actually stayed in Jersey awaiting that trial because it was a larger charge. So he was extradited. He was sent to New Jersey because it was a bigger case.
Yeah.
The trial would begin January 3rd, 1935 in Flemington, New Jersey. It lasted 5 weeks.
For what? He murdered a baby.
The tool marks on the ladder matched the tools that he owned. The wood for the ladder matched the wood he used as flooring in his attic. Condon's phone number and address were written in a door frame in their closet, and the handwriting matched the ransom notes. So the prosecution had a pretty strong case here, huh?
Yeah, I'm confused on why it took so long.
Sometimes you have that much evidence you got to go over. Who knows what the defense... I don't really know what the defense did, but I know it was a pain in the ass is what it was. So on February 13th, he was found guilty of murder in the first degree. And then he was sentenced to death. Because this was the 30s.
Yeah.
Capital punishment was much more lax than, to put it lightly. So the defense attempted to appeal, but it was denied December 9th. He died by electrocution April 3rd, 1936 at 8:47 p.m. His wife cremated her husband to bring his ashes back to Germany, which was nice of her.
Yeah.
And she fully remained on her husband's defense the whole time. Which, like, good for you, girl. I would not.
I really don't know what I would do in that situation, though.
If he is, like, very clearly guilty, I would not support. The problem is, a lot of people have theories about Hauptmann's innocence.
What?
Some books even try to incriminate Dwight Morrow Jr., which was Lindbergh's brother-in-law. But what's most important is that the Lindberghs believed that Hauptmann was definitely involved, so they could rest easy knowing justice was served for their son.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that there were, like, no theories about, like, what's the term I'm looking for? Where, like, they did it for, like, the publicity.
I don't think they needed the publicity.
Exactly. This man did something like, nah, they don't need publicity. But, yeah, this story about little baby Lindbergh. He was a cute fucking baby, too.
I'm gonna look up what this baby looks like.
He was fucking adorable.
What was his name?
Charles Lindbergh Jr.
Oh,
Isn't he so cute?
he's so cute. Oh,
His little curly hair.
he's so cute.
Yeah.
Such
Poor
a little
baby.
stinker.
I'm getting TikToks real quick.
That's sad.
Very sad.
That made me sad. I think our episode's gonna be short today, though, because I have a short story.
Well, we started recording at like 10 minutes into the meeting. I think we're good. We're good.
We did like 2 hours the last like 3.
No, just last one. I
I
think.
don't even remember what I did the last one.
Last one, I did Harold Shipman. So you did. Fuck, what did you do last week? Yes, you did Pomola.
Icon.
Mm-hmm.
Poopy
Alright, so
butt.
what are you hitting me with today?
Something that is not a lot of information, but very important.
The fuck does that mean?
So, like, it's nothing insanely crazy, like paranormally, but it did influence like spirituality to like what it is today. So it's like important.
I still got nothing. I'm sorry, I like kept that face for so long. TikTok.
So yeah, to be honest, like before I did this story, like I knew like of this because like I also went through my huge phase back in like 2020 where I was like looking up a bunch of stuff about like paranormal stuff.
I still would like the context
I'm
of
gonna
this
give the
story.
context later. So like
Bruh.
I didn't like know until I was doing that like years ago. But I knew that it like was important to like modern ideas of like hauntings and stuff, but I didn't know what actually like they did.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, so for this story, we have three sisters, and their names were Leah Fox, who was born in
I was about to say, is it the
1813.
Fox sisters?
Margaret Fox, who was born in 1833, and Catherine Fox, who was born in 1837. So we focus primarily on the two younger sisters, who are Maggie and Kate, but Leah does become a part of it, like
Yes.
later on. So there's that. Anyway, I'm gonna give a little bit of like the storyline,
Mm-hmm.
like the time of events, and then I'll go back and be like, so this is what happened. So
They did some fucked up shit.
I'm gonna give context on the family first.
Okay.
So, like long, long before the sisters became famous, the family always like struggled financially. Their father, John Fox, had problems with alcohol, and um, their parents spent periods separated. Like after having Leah, they split up until the 1830s, and then that's when they had Maggie and Kate.
Which that's not very common for that time period.
No.
I mean, divorce wasn't a thing really, but like separation even more so.
But Maggie and Kate were largely raised by their mother while their father was out seeking work. Um, the family were Methodists that lived in upstate New York. So the oldest sister, Leah, left home very young. She married at about 14 years old and had a daughter, but her husband abandoned the family, which we'll get into later.
There's a bug in my
And
room.
oops,
Sorry, I'm all distracted.
okay.
I can't. If it's not a mosquito, I'm good. But if I can't tell because of like how it's moving, I can't like see its body. But if it's a mosquito, I'm killing that shit. Can you like stay still so I know if you're? I don't think you're a mosquito, but you might
We
be.
killing it. Da 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 da. Yeah, we roll.
Can you get stuck in the giant spider web up there, please?
You already know. You already know. We killing it. Da 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 da.
It's literally
2005.
Okay, all right. I just gotta
so
stop
long now.
I gotta stop for you and this bug.
Okay. Anyway, by the late 1840s, Leah was living in poverty in Rochester, New York. So after the family became known, Kate and Maggie were sent to live with their sister Leah in Rochester. And this is when Leah came into the picture. She began managing what they looked like their
Leia?
like
From Star Wars?
I watched Star Wars, sorry.
Not the cameo I thought was gonna happen.
Dun, 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 dun. No, because I've been like having like dreams about like Anakin, like when he was like not Darth Vader. Like Padme
come get your girl.
Bro. Padme was tripping to not go with him. Like, I would have folded so fast. But I don't know why Leia came into this, because that's Anakin's daughter. I don't really know.
I'm about to say.
But anyway, Leah started managing, like, their public appearances, their finances, their public image, and, like, all that stuff after they moved in with her. And she was kind of like the practical, like, business family member. Maggie then went on to meet the famous Arctic explorer Alicia Kent Kane in the 1850s. And Kane was skeptical of the activities that had made the sisters famous and reportedly tried to separate Maggie from the influence of Leah and the Spiritualist movement. Despite the controversy, Maggie and Kane still got married, and she converted to Roman Catholicism.
All right.
I forget if I mentioned this, but this is all just backstory of their entire life.
I figured.
Yeah, I'm just giving their entire life without the little stuff put in yet.
We'll do like a little bit of time travel. That makes sense.
So then this caused a strain in the sisters' relationship. However, the marriage was very short-lived because Kane died in 1857.
Oh.
Yeah. And then after his death, Maggie returned to the public eye and struggled for many years with questions about religion, guilt, family fame, a lot of that stuff. You know, the public was not very kind to her. So then Kate, the youngest one, would later spend several years in England, beginning in 1871, and there she married Henry D. Jenkin, a lawyer and supporter of spiritualism. The couple had 2 sons, and then Jenkin died in 1881, and Kate was left as a widow with young children.
Oh.
In their later years, the family relationships deteriorated very badly. Leah, oh my gosh. Leah became estranged from Maggie and Kate. There was a lot of disputes about money, child custody, public reputations, you know. And Maggie and Kate were becoming alcoholics.
Oh, God.
And the spiritualist leaders, you know, because at this point in time, spiritualism was starting to become very popular. That's why they're kind of considered like,
yeah,
you know, like hallmarks. But the spiritualist leaders were worried that Kate's drinking was affecting her ability to care for her children. So they tried to take her children away from her.
Which, honestly, you can't judge them for doing that.
But they didn't succeed.
Oh.
She ended up keeping her kids.
Don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
Probably a bad thing, to be honest.
Okay.
But
don't know if, like, she cleaned up her act or something.
No.
Okay.
No, they never did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, Leah ended up dying in 1890. She was the first sister to pass away. She was also, like, 20 years older than them.
God damn. I mean, yeah, but still.
But even though she was, like, 10 or 20 years older, all the sisters kind of died around the same time. Because then Kate, the youngest, died in 1892, only 2 years later. And then Maggie died less than a year later in 1893.
Damn.
So by the time Maggie and Kate died, they were both severely, like, in poverty and severe alcoholics.
I can imagine.
They were once really, really famous. It all went down the fucking drain so fast. And that's the life story of the Fox sisters.
Can we just end it here? No.
Guys, that's it. That's all.
You don't need
All
to know
right.
what actually happened.
The TikTok is no, sorry.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
So now what they actually did, it seemed crazy for the time period. I'm gonna preface this. It's not
Yeah.
actually that crazy. Like, it's really, there's not a lot to it.
No, it's just
Back then,
in the
everybody was
end,
so fascinated with like
yeah,
stuff like that.
it was the rise of spiritualism. Everyone wanted
Yeah.
like a piece of it. They wanted to believe, and these women, yeah.
So when I'm talking, you guys might think it's not really like all that, but you have to understand these are like considered like the mothers of like modern day hauntings and stuff.
Yes.
Like poltergeists and stuff. How they manifest is largely like considered influenced by like them.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't seem important on the surface, but they are. I promise. Anyway, going back to the beginning. So they were a little bit older. They weren't just born. So in 1847, the Fox family moved into a small farmhouse in Hydesville, New York. Not long after moving there, the family reported hearing unexplained knocks, taps, and scraping sounds, especially at night. On the evening of March 31st, 1848.
You good? You having a stroke?
No,
You smelling some toast?
don't even say that. I will panic. But on the evening of March 31st, 1848, 11-year-old Kate reportedly challenged the unseen force that the family had been seeing and challenged it to imitate the noises of her finger snaps. So she would snap her fingers and be like, "Can you make that noise? Can you tap the same amount of times that I snapped my finger?" And then the sounds appeared to respond with the correct number. So, like, she snapped her fingers twice, and then there were 2 knocks. They were, like, communicating with this, like, supposed spirit. And then word got around to the neighbors and the family, and then all those people were soon coming over to the house to try and engage with this spirit. So the friends, the family, the neighbors, they would all ask questions like, how many children are in the family? How old is each child? Are you a spirit? And the knock supposedly answered correctly by using a code of like raps. So they eventually developed a more elaborate system where the knocks could indicate letters of the alphabet. So the system was 1 rap was yes, 2 raps was no, and then multiple raps corresponded to letters or numbers. So then this allowed for lengthy conversations with the spirit. So this all progressed very, very quickly. It seems like there's not much to say, but that's because there's not. Like, it literally just happens within like days.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden they're
sounds
just
about
like
right.
communicating with this like spirit in their home, like randomly.
Like, okay, bestie, you got this.
So to many people in the 1840s, this did seem very convincing though. So like the era was already like fascinated by stuff like hypnosis, which was just coming out. They were just coming up with certain things like to do with electricity. You could get telegraphs.
Yeah.
And there were like other like new technologies that were coming out. So everybody was like, "Oh my gosh. You can talk to spirits. That's so crazy." But it just required less effort to convince them that it was real than it does us today. Because now we're like, "Oh my gosh, you're knocking with your hand."
Yeah.
But like back then, they were like, "Oh my gosh, we're talking to a ghost." But anyway, the girls created such an elaborate system with this supposed spirit that they were able to gain a backstory from this supposed spirit. And the claim was that the spirit was a traveling peddler who had been murdered in the home years earlier and was buried in the cellar.
Okay.
The
Great.
the sisters later said that the spirit identified himself as Charles B. Rosna.
Another Charles.
Another Charles. Also, you said that the one guy went by Fox.
That wasn't a Charles, though.
Yeah, but they're the Fox
another
sisters.
connection. Yes. Yes.
So
my brain was like, but he's not a Charles. What the fuck are you
yeah,
talking
I was like
about?
the Fox sisters.
You should have been like, I'm sorry, are we going into my story? Transition?
I was thinking about it when you said that. I was like,
that's almost us.
But neighbors searched parts of the property and reportedly did find fragments of bone, which seemed to support the Fox sisters' story.
Ew.
However, there was never any convincing evidence of a murdered peddler to ever, exist.
Got it.
So, no clue where the bones came from. Don't want to know.
No, definitely don't want to know.
But not from a murdered peddler named Charles B. Rosna.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this was one of the first major ghost narratives. This attracted so much public attention because it was unheard of back then. People weren't going around being like, "Oh, I'm hearing knocking on my walls," and blah 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 blah. You know? I sounded like Dracula in Hotel Transylvania 3.
Yeah.
Abby dabby dooby da. Dabby dooby dabby da. Anyway. The Fox sisters became so famous that John and Margaret could no longer handle it. And as Methodists, they did not want that kind of thing going on in their home. So, this is when in the story Maggie and Kate moved to live with Leah in Rochester. But according to the sisters, the mysterious rappings followed them to Leah's house. So that makes it sound like they're saying that this murdered peddler did not attach to the house, even though it was murdered there and buried there. They're saying that this peddler was attached to one of them and followed them to Leah's house. Which is weird. But they tried to say that it followed them. Which, first kind of inconsistency there.
Yeah.
Doesn't really line up. But again, back then, people didn't have that logic about, ghosts. They didn't think like that. They were like, oh, there's a ghost. So this didn't raise any red flags back then. But the older sister, Leah, quickly recognized that the public fascination was super high and began arranging demonstrations for Maggie and Kate. In November 1849, the sisters gave a public exhibition of spirit communication at Corinthian Hall in Rochester for over 400 people.
Damn.
Spectators listened for the spirit raps and judged whether the phenomenon sounded genuine. There were so many fucking people. Insane. This little, seance type of thing that they're doing is considered the public birth of modern spiritualism. I said it mattered, guys. Doesn't sound like there's a lot going on, but I did say
it matters.
So soon the sisters were conducting seances for paying audiences, and many prominent Americans attended these seances. And then spiritualism spread rapidly across the United States and Europe, which, led more people to come see them. So soon, everywhere, all across America, public seances were being held. Thousands of people claimed to be mediums. Spiritualist churches were formed. Yeah. And then wealthy and influential people also attended these seances, which made the popularity grow 10 times more. So by the 1850s, spiritualism had become an international kind of thing. it just like sprang right up. And literally, a lot of that is attributed to the Fox sisters doing these public seances. So several factors did help the movement spread, though. So it obviously wasn't just them. The 19th century had high mortality rates, so many families lost children, spouses, parents, and the idea that loved ones still existed and could communicate was very comforting back then. I mean, it's still comforting now, but it aided. And then after the American Civil War, millions mourned their dead relatives, so many people turned to mediums hoping to contact their fallen soldiers. And then, like I mentioned briefly earlier, all the like powerful and influential people that like showed their interest in spiritualism made the general public want to hop on the train too. Yeah. So then it was just like
pretty much.
Yeah. The Fox sisters actually created a couple claims of them like for themselves that literally stayed with society into like modern times. They had claims that the dead survived their physical death and that spirits could communicate through knocks, raps, and all that kind of stuff if they couldn't speak. They could answer questions and provide different kinds of information, and that they were intelligent beings that transcended like death.
Yeah, I still don't understand that. I really don't.
I don't know. My teddy bear.
Looks like a fucking demon back there.
Hey. My teddy bear. Would you like me to turn the lights on for you then?
That helps. Now it don't look like there's a demon behind you.
What if there is?
Well, that would be a problem for you.
That would be a major problem. And now I feel like there is.
And whose fault is that?
I didn't do anything. I didn't invite it into my room.
Maybe you did and you just don't know.
Okay. Yo. If there is anything in here, please leave. I do not consent to you being in my room. And I do not consent to you being in my body either. Get out.
Is this your version of a seance blessing, whatever the fuck it's called? Exorcism?
Get out of my room now. And I don't care what kind of entity you are. Get out of my room.
Just get the fuck out.
Get out. I don't care if you're a little child that's actually a child and you're all nice and sweet. Get out. Just get out. I will open the door for you. Help.
Oh, that's nice.
Here you go. Leave.
That was very nice of you to open the door for them.
Nothing come in either. That door was not opening for you to come in. The door was opening to let them out. Okay? Now that we're done banishing the things from my room.
Oh my god.
You know, I did actually think about that, like, last night in the shower. I was like, what if me talking about all this kind of stuff invited stuff into my room?
I hate to break it to you, but I think we definitely did.
So, yeah, I'm going to say it again. Get out.
Not opening the door this time, though.
No. I'm not going to open the door for you guys.
That's too much work.
I did it once. You may leave. You can walk through the door. You're a ghost. You can
just go right through it.
I feel like I'm actually talking to somebody right now. The way that it feels like I'm actually having like a conversation with someone, not a good feeling.
No.
I don't like that.
I think we need to have a seance in your room soon.
I think I need to sage my room. I feel.
Probably.
Watch me not sleep tonight now.
What is it? I think I forget who I went shopping with recently, and I saw like a fucking like Ouija board that was like themed a certain way. It was like, I think it was like a wicked Ouija board.
Well, they're technically like board games.
Exactly. It was like, hey, you have to be like 5 years old to play with the Ouija board.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But
Hey,
also,
at least we're old enough.
yeah.
I don't think we should be, but damn, you
But
gotta be in kindergarten to summon demons.
I feel like I'm pretty, like, clear, though, that I don't want stuff. So I feel like
Yeah.
maybe I didn't invite anything in.
I think you're okay.
Maybe I made a clear enough boundary.
We're fine. We're not gonna die. Hopefully.
Don't even say that. Don't say that.
Maybe you should just continue your story.
Okay, anyway. The Fox sisters also believed that certain people had special abilities that could facilitate communication, aka mediums.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So not everyone was convinced. Critics suspected that there were hidden mechanisms, trickery, joint cracking, ventriloquism, and deliberate fraud. So investigators noticed that the sounds often seemed to come from beneath the sisters' dresses or near their feet, and several critics proposed that the noises were produced by cracking joints in the toes, ankles, knees, or hips.
Yeah.
Tests conducted in the 1850s frequently concluded that the sounds originated from the sisters themselves rather than spirits. At the height of their popularity, the public eye and critics became too much for the Fox sisters. As mentioned before, both sisters developed serious drinking problems. They also became, pretty in depth in some bitter disputes with their older sister, who had helped manage and promote their careers. So, without her help, they were kind of not doing great. This weakened their finances, their reputation, and they fell out of the public eye. But, strong spiritualism followers remained very concerned. It wasn't until 40 years later, after the Hydesville events, that Maggie made a dramatic public confession. In October 1888, before a large audience in New York City, she demonstrated how she could create loud spirit raps by manipulating and cracking joints in her feet and toes. Doctors reportedly examined her during the demonstration and confirmed that the sounds could be produced naturally.
Ew.
Yeah.
I just don't like the idea of it.
No. Maggie stated that the original Hydesville phenomena had been a childhood prank that spiraled out of control. According to her confession, the girls discovered that they could make snapping sounds and then interpret them as spirit messages. For skeptics, this was obviously proof that the entire movement was a fraud.
Mm-hmm.
About a year later, Maggie withdrew her confession and claimed that she had been pressured into making it. Some spiritualists accepted this retraction. Other skeptics viewed it as an attempt to regain her income. Could look at it both ways.
Yeah.
But historians still continue to debate her motives. But the confession does remain one of the most famous exposures of a medium in history. Their case launched modern spiritualism. It popularized seances, inspired thousands of mediums. And that is why we now have shows like Ghost Adventures.
Indeed.
Yay.
Yeah.
After I basically had like an exorcism in my room.
Yeah, that's a new one.
That's just how it be sometimes.
20-something episodes in, we had to do our first exorcism in your bedroom.
The only thing though is that I feel like I would know.
You definitely would.
I would know. There's no way that I wouldn't be able to know.
You're fine. It was just how the lighting was in your room.
See,
it just looked like there was a demon back there.
That happens to me sometimes when I'm like looking at myself on the thing. And I'm like, what the fuck is that back? That's why sometimes you'll see, like, if you watch the videos back, you'll see me be like,
what's it? But you wouldn't even look at your dresser during Bloody Mary, so
don't even start. I forgot about that. You just brought that back into my brain. God, now I don't want to look at my mirror again.
I'm such a good friend, guys.
But yeah. Considering, I literally felt through a picture earlier that somebody's house was haunted, I fear I would know something was in the room.
Yeah. Don't let Paul's brother bring any of that stuff he bought into your house.
They left that house.
Good.
Yeah.
They didn't buy anything.
No.
Good.
But no, like, he texted me and he sent me the pictures and I was like, ew. I don't like this.
This is why estate sales are creepy. They're definitely haunted.
But, like, that feels really weird. Don't like it. Not about that. And I said something. I was like, I don't know. That room was kind of weird.
And then weird.
And then Paul, like, 2 minutes later, he was like, this house feels off.
And I was like, says it.
And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, because I don't know if I've said this, but, like, Paul doesn't follow, like, no. He's Christian, but he doesn't follow it strictly, but he still has, like, those beliefs.
Yeah.
So, like, he's not, like, a hardcore skeptic of, like, the paranormal, but he finds it hard to believe.
Mm-hmm.
But, so, like, I'm obviously out here, like, 100%, like, no doubt in my mind, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, when he said that, I was like, what are you saying it means off? Like, did they leave, like, family pictures out or something? And he was like, no. It feels weird in here. And I was like, what do you mean? Are you guys? I was like, what do you mean? Like, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, he disappeared for, like, another 2 minutes. And he texted me back and he was like, I just told my brother that we need to leave because I don't like it. And then they left. And I was like, the funniest part is that when I looked at those pictures you sent me, I knew that something was weird.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
thank God they left.
Off. Yeah. I was like, I'm glad that you did not stay.
Because who knows, maybe they would have bought something that had, like, really bad, like, intentions in it. And
ew.
No,
yeah, that's not good.
Before we start spiraling out, maybe we should sign off. Because you have to put a bunny to bed.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Instagram is Let's Spill the Tea. Alright. The check jock is lstt.pod and the Gmail. I opened TikTok and it started playing because I was gonna look at the Gmail.
Gotta make sure I get it right.
But the Gmail's the same thing as the TikTok, right? LSTT.
No, it's not.
It's not.
The TikTok is Let's Spill the Tea.pod.
Oh, you're right.
And the email is lstt.pod.
If you couldn't tell, my mind is now thinking about my room being haunted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
right.
What she said.
Yeah.
I can guarantee that moment is gonna be on the TikTok too. I
know. your little exorcism.
I know.
Which is gonna be the title of this episode. Lori's in-house exorcism.
I don't even think it's an exorcism. I think I just cleansed my room, but, like, verbally.
Corey's verbal cleansing. I don't know what the fuck to call it.
I don't know why I felt the need to do that either. Like, why did I even?
Because you're insane. That? Anyway, we're spilling way too much tea than we expected to.
Yeah. Well,
goodbye.
15 minutes of the tea was me doing the freaking room shit.
It really was. Well, okay, I think we spilled enough tea. You want to sign off?
Okay, bye.
Bye.